If you are an antique lover or you're new at the antique collecting game, that's me, you want to stop in at the Scott Antique Market. And why you should drive all day long, you shouldn't, because it's right here. I'm here with Don Scott and Deb Tobin from Scott Antique Market. It's nice to have you both here.
Good morning.
And this is a big deal because you have all kinds of dealers under one roof, don't you, Don?
No, we have two large buildings this month. The biggest building's on the fairgrounds. We use the Celeste multi-purpose building, and we run 5 times a year, November through March, 5 weekends a year.
I did not know that Scott was named after a person. Well, that's why you call it Scott Antique Market.
The larger building has about 800 exhibitor booths, and the smaller building, the Celeste, has approximately 400 exhibitor booths.
Now, you are only doing this once a month, am I right?
We do it 5 times a year, November monthly through March.
And it's this coming weekend.
It's this weekend.
What kind of things are people going to find? And you've just brought a sampling. It looks like it covers
everything. Gets old, from jewels to everything else. And you can find more at the fairgrounds in a day than you'll find all year long driving along. And you'll find paper memorabilia. You'll find the artifacts the settlers made coming across the country. You'll find prehistoric artifacts, the Indian artifacts. And I like to use tools. I like to use a lot of the antiques. And we have a lot of utilitarian.
What do you call it?
Utilitarian.
Utilitarian. Means you can still use it today.
We can make tomato juice. And we can use a colander for several generations.
That was pretty. Coffee grinder Deb's got over here. Okay, so when you use these, they're not just for decorating.
I like utilitarian type items. If you're a flight instructor, you can talk about stalling and use this as a graphic.
He might be stretching a bit on that one. Now, this is really beautiful over here. We were talking about this earlier.
Right. This is a Weller vase. It's from the 19th century, and people still use this. And Don actually picked this up for a steal at the antique show because it has a chip in it. So,
but
less than $20.
Yes.
But then, can you get really good, inexpensive antiques? Because I think that's the misnomer. People think, I'm not going to be an antique person because I can't afford it.
I love shopping the shows. I love going to them like most people. Like, here's a lamp made out of bronze, a little girl with a cat. And it was at less than $150, and I just love the little bronze. And like the coffee grinder, you find those under $40. That one's 1880s, and you still grind your neat oatmeal.
Okay, well, what makes an antique? I mean, how old does something have to be before it's garage sale or antique?
That's quite debatable, but if it's automotive, it's 25 years or older. If you're trying to come through customs, it'd be 100 years or older, unless it's a rare item like a clock or some spatial memorabilia. They'll go 50 years on.
Okay. And Deb, I want to talk a little bit about this jewelry up front. Some of it looks like it really could be something that you'd find in a store today.
Right.
So how do you even know, for the untrained eye, if it really is an antique?
Well, I always ask the dealer that I'm buying it from.
And you have to trust these dealers, right?
Right. And, most of the dealers that go to the shows have been there for years, so they're very reputable. And I always ask them, is this an antique or is this a reproduction or whatever? And they guarantee it. So some of them even have the papers that go along with it, and they will guarantee that if you take it to a jeweler, that it will be what they say it is.
You really like the jewelry, the antique jewelry.
Yes, I do. Yes.
I can see why. It is fascinating.
Beautiful.
And then you kind of wonder who had this stuff, right, Don? I mean, that's what you get all caught up in.
I like the archaeology. If you look at this axe, they use this for cutting wood. But right here is a great big divot.
Yeah.
And that is for cracking nuts, and that was a lot of their diet in the wintertime.
So how old is this? Any idea?
This would be very much prehistoric. It range the archaic period, probably 3,000 years to 8,000 years old.
You never get tired of this stuff.
No, he doesn't.
Well, let's tell folks once more where the two buildings are that they can see this weekend so they can find anything that their heart desires.
The Ohio Expo Center, also known as the Ohio State Fairgrounds. There'll be good signs as you get off at 17th Avenue. You come up the Freeway 71, get off at 17th Avenue, and there'll be a lot of signs and police guiding people into the show.
Because I know it gets a bit crowded there. There are a lot of dealers. How many? Maybe?
Well, we have approximately 1,200 exhibitor booths.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot to sift through.
A lot of Christmas shopping will be going on this weekend.
You got the idea.
Yes,
That's right.
I do. Yes.
Thank you, Deb. Don, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
He's like a wealth of knowledge. I get to sit here and use the spirit. And thank you, Deb. Nice to see you as well.